how to design SharePoint to drive engagement. Now, in the past 10 years of me designing and implementing SharePoint Intranets, I've come up against a few different things which I found really useful that have time and time again shown that this has boosted engagement and kept people sticky coming back to the intranet. So the first thing I want to talk about is the use of integrating video into your SharePoint intranet. Now, there's a couple of different ways that you can do this, including embedded YouTube videos, which, as I say, is actually a native functionality now. There's a web part that you can add YouTube videos directly into SharePoint. You can embed Microsoft Stream if you really wanted to. So if you've got Stream videos, you can embed them. Or if you're using any other third-party products like Vimeo or things like that, there's plenty of ways that you can embed your videos into SharePoint. Now, research conducted by Cisco showed that video traffic within enterprise networks was projected to account for up to 60% of traffic within the corporate network. Now, video content is just expected nowadays. I mean, you're watching this video right now. You could, if you really wanted to, go and get a SharePoint Design book if you wanted to consume it in that way. There's loads of different ways that you could possibly be consuming information. You could be reading about it on a web page, but instead you're choosing to watch this video. And everybody now in their work life is starting to want more and more videos, so more like video training courses rather than paper textbooks and things like that. We're seeing in our personal life people using Facebook, TikTok, Instagram, Reels and things like that. So short form video content is becoming more and more popular and again becoming expected in day-to-day work life. We're seeing a lot of kind of videos, training videos, things like that be adopted by organizations, but we're also encouraging people to create short form videos that they can launch on their intranet as well for short updates. So rather than spending days putting together a monthly newsletter or something like that, why not get the people that are giving you that information just to record short videos on their mobile phone that can be embedded directly into your SharePoint? Doesn't need to be Hollywood studio quality. We're not trying to design the next blockbuster film with studio sets and lighting and big cameras and film budget crews and all that sort of stuff. We don't need any of that. You literally can just take a selfie style video using your mobile phone, give a little update, say, hey guys, this is what's going on. We're looking at launching a new benefit to the organization. Just wanted to get your thoughts on this and feedback. What do you think? Blah, blah, blah. And that's a much quicker, simpler way of getting out there. And actually studies show that this kind of raw, kind of unedited type of footage usually lands much better. It comes off much more trustworthy and authentic. And these are things that people want to actually see. As I say, you could embed a YouTube web part or a Stream web part. So just to show you an example of this, I'm just going to jump back to my intranet homepage and just scroll down a little bit. So there we go. You can see we've got a YouTube video. So one of our kind of popular videos about designing model-driven Power Apps. We've embedded that onto our homepage. Now, this is not a fantastic example of an actual video, but you take this with a pinch of salt. Think of this as you could embed any sort of video you wanted to. Maybe it's a roundup summary. Maybe it's the latest kind of updates. Maybe it's, say, for example, at Valto, we often do kind of quarterly strategy days, which are sometimes hybrids. There's some people that join them remotely, and we record those sessions or record it for people that are on holiday during that time. And then we can embed that video directly into our intranet. So people who were on holiday or missed the meeting can go back and watch that afterwards as well. So integrating video is a massive part. So think about how you could do this. And I say, you don't need to jump directly into this straight away and be kind of doing selfie TikTok style videos and things like that. But think about how you could possibly start getting video content in there. Nowadays with AI, there's plenty of ways that you can even take things like text, documents, PowerPoints, presentations, things like that, and actually convert them into videos with an AI kind of speaker over the top of it. In fact, Microsoft Copilot can even create short videos as well. I think up to about 5 minutes long about specific topics. So you can even use Microsoft Copilot as your AI tool of choice if you wanted to create those short form videos. The other thing which is worth thinking about as well when you're trying to drive engagement is using content sections. Now, within an intranet, it's very, well, I advise people to break SharePoint pages into multiple content sections. This improves readability and allows for better presentations of diverse information. So you can see a little example here on the right-hand side. We're using sections here, almost like an FAQ type sections where you've got drop-down areas and things like that. So as you open and expand it, maybe more information appears. But sections are really easy to use, and actually the allowing you to completely modernize how the look and feel of your SharePoint intranet works. So most modern websites now take this approach. As you're scrolling through a modern web page, gone are the days where there's like thousands of pages with short form bits of information which are all linking to each other. Nowadays, people are expecting to see more information on one page, but they want to be able to scroll through it. And as you're scrolling through, you're seeing that the different sections are either changing color or they've got different headers or things like that. Now you can see we've got a couple of different sections here. We've got this section on the left-hand side, we've got the section on the right-hand side, but we could even take this a step further if we wanted to. We can change the background colors. So I'll just scroll down a little bit. Say our news section. So you can see here, this is a section. This events area is a section. So let's say, for example, if we wanted to change this section color, we can easily, or for example, make it collapsible if we wanted to. We can go into design and we can change this color. So you can see here now, we can change these background colors really simply. So now if I republish this, you'll see once I now scroll down the page, you can see this section now is a lot more obvious that it's something different, that something's changed visually to the eye. I now know that this is a different type of content. So this is navigational type of content and informational. And then when I scroll down, this is more communication type of content, and I know I'm into a different area. So use those sections to kind of boost the kind of visibility and help people understand that content is changing on the same page. So this facilitates clear navigations for points of users, increases readability and reduces cognitive load, so it's much easier for people to process information, and you can group this into related information in a logical context for the user. Future-proofed for updates, so no disruptive layouts and things like that. It's all going to be sort of standardized, and enhances the visual appeal, so it looks more engaging. It wants to kind of help people, and people are going to be a lot more appreciative and engage with the intranet a lot more. So yeah, and also another little top tip is use the Microsoft stock image library. So if we just jump back into a little bit of an example here. So say, for example, if I was to edit this page, and let's say, for example, we're going to create, let's just say at the bottom here, we're going to create like an additional kind of section. So let's say, for example, we'll create, we won't use one column. Let's use a 1/3 left, 1/3 left. So you can see there's different. So we've got flexible layouts. We've got which is basically the new area, which is a lot more kind of dynamic. We can drag and drop things. We've got 1 column, 2 columns, 3 columns. 1/3 left, which is basically the one on the right hand side is much bigger, or 1/3 right, where the column on the left hand side is much bigger. Or we can't actually use the full width section because we're actually already using this vertical section on the right hand side here. You can only use one or the other for those. But I can say 1/3 left. Then, just as a quick example, you can now see I can add web parts really easily into here. I'm going to add in an image. As I say, use the stock image library. This is a fantastic tool from Microsoft, which is constantly being updated with high quality images, which you can search based on color. So say, for example, if I could spell, type in blue. So at Valta, we use a lot of blue colors. So I can type in blue and I can see different kind of colors like this, or topics. So say, for example, we're looking for something which is more like office themed. So here we go. Somebody using a sort of tablet in an office. Fantastic. We'll add that. And then we can add in a bit of text into our page. So let's just type in here. Ooh, this is some text. Just duplicate that a few times. There we go. Now with our section, I'd say we can make this collapsible if we wanted to. So we can make this collapsible, and as I say, if we wanted to make this more like an FAQ type of layout, it might be, how do I raise a expense request? Something like that. Now, Once we've made it collapsible, we can choose whether we show the title or not. We can choose the title heading. We can show the divider between the lines or not. So I'd say turn them on. We can say, do we want it to be on the left or the right? So there's the arrow on the left or the right. And do we want it to be expanded or not? Now I'm going to say no, I'm going to want it to be collapsed, because what I want to show you is I'm going to duplicate this a couple of times. And then what I'm going to do is change this. So maybe something like, how do I submit a holiday? I don't know, all the questions. What day of the month do we get paid? Whatever it is. These are just terrible Q&As. But once you're finished with that, you click on republish. And now I just want to show you what these sections look like. We now have at the bottom a little FAQ section that people could open and close that content. And because it's part of this kind of almost like accordion style collapsible content, again, it's going to help with kind of users' cognitive load. They're not getting smashed with loads of information. They just see the kind of the question, and if they want to see the answer, they can open this up rather than displaying all of that information automatically. But SharePoint is more than just an intranet. In the video linked above, I'm going to show you some real-world examples of how you can get the best return on investment from SharePoint by actually building out more solutions, things like policy management systems and onboarding processes in SharePoint. I look forward to seeing you there.